It's time we address the controversies. Welcome everyone to Power Rainbows. I'm of course your host, Professor Pride, and on today's show, we are finally talking about some of the most controversial things that we've had on our show, and you have all commented on under our videos, which, I mean, we always appreciate LGBTQ-friendly comments in the comments down below, but there's some things that we just wanted to clarify really quick because it's kind of getting excessive in the comments. So the first controversy happened a little while ago on our 100th episode of season 4 here on the 100 LGBTQ terms that you should probably know. In that video, there was two controversies that happened inside of it. The first of which was the first definition of it, where I defined LGBTQIA in the video, and I said it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, and the A standing for asexual, aromantic, and ally. And people were very quick to comment on the fact that A should not stand for ally. I wholeheartedly believe that A should stand for ally as well as asexual and aromantic, and here's why. With it, I believe that we should include our allies as a part of our community because they help us in our cause. Like, when we look at the pure numbers here, 10% of the world's population is LGBTQ, but we need allies in order to support us, in order for the lawmakers and so on to say, you know what, we need to listen to those people because 80% of non-LGBTQ Americans support LGBTQ education and legislation. So when we say that A somewhat stands for allies, I completely believe in that, where we include them because they're supportive of our cause, they're supportive of our equal rights. And so for us not to include them, that's kind of exclusionary on our part. Now, I understand people are going to say, well, the A shouldn't stand for that. Okay, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to that opinion. You 100% are. What you have to understand is the LGBTQIA plus is also a thing. So generally speaking, when we define LGBTQ, there's a much larger acronym there. So it's actually LGBTQIA, A, and so on. So there's multiple A's, and it actually stands for multiple things. So I understand that there's that confusion, but I also wanted to clarify my thoughts on it, and hopefully you can understand my opinion on it. Now, the second controversy that happened inside the same video was about the terms themselves. So there were a lot of terms in the 100 terms we defined on that program where basically they were derogatory terms that you should never say, you should never want to hear in society. But I said them in the show. For instance, I said faggot, and I defined what that word meant, and I defined how derogatory that term is. Well, there's people out there in the comments that say, well, I'm a gay man and I'm allowed to say faggot. I'm not supposed to say faggot out in society. On the show here, I'm talking in an educational context. So what you have to understand is I'm not just going to put the word on the screen and say, here's what this word means, but I'm going to say it out loud, and that way you know what it sounds like as well. Because without saying it, you may not be able to recognize, oh, that's what that word sounds like if I ever hear it out in the world someday, to teach other people, hey, you shouldn't say this word, because it's derogatory. So along those same lines, I said the words dyke and tranny to define those terminologies for you, and that way you know, hey, that's what that word sounds like, not just how it's written. So a majority of these terms you're not going to see written out. A lot of times you're going to see a homophobe or a transphobic person saying them out loud. So you might hear the word tranny or dyke or faggot, and you might not know, hey, that's the pronunciation of that word that Matt had on the screen. So in order to show you that, I had to actually say those words out loud. In an educational context, we firmly believe that we're able to say those words on the show here for education purposes only, because I'm telling you, hey, don't say these words out in society. These are not okay words to use. I know a lot of gay people in especially sexual relationships where they call their partner a faggot in moments of undress. That is not okay in my eyes. There's no moment in any world where the word faggot or tranny or dyke should be used out in society. They're just as bad as the N-word for describing African Americans and so on. So they're just as bad in my mind, but I'm only using that in an educational context. So I promise you I do know what those words mean, and I don't mean them derogatory. We are here for LGBTQ education and positivity only, but I need you to know what those words sound like, so that way in society, if you ever hear them, you know what they sound like and know not to use them. The next biggest controversy on the show has been the introduction to my boyfriend, Michael. So we've been in a relationship for a tiny bit now, and it's going insanely well. I am the happiest I've ever been. I need you to know that. This is probably the best I've ever felt in my life, professionally and personally. So I'm doing amazing right now because of him. And he's insanely supportive of the show here. He gives us ideas for the show, some of which you're about to see in the coming weeks for episodes. So he's incredibly supportive of me. I love what he does for a living as well, although I won't mention that on the show here because I'm not sure if he's comfortable that information being public, at least to 50,000 people public. But I will say some of the comments under the videos have asked us, well, is Michael just camera shy because he hasn't been on the show yet? Is Michael afraid to be on cameras? So on and so forth. In the very early stages of our relationship, I set out ground rules with him of like, hey, just so you know, I don't invite boys onto my show very early on. I think we need to build a solid foundation to our relationship first that takes a month or two in order to make sure that we're solid enough that no matter what happens online, that we're going to be okay through it, you know? We need that foundation first. And I also explained to him, if you ever want to come on the show, it is entirely your decision to come on. It is not my decision. Know that I want you on the show, and I want to introduce you to everyone, and I want you to be on a regular episode with me, but it's not mandatory to be in a relationship with me. It's not mandatory that you have to be on the show. So I explained all this to him, and I'm like, if you ever come on the show, it's going to be your decision that you want to be on it. You're going to have to ask me, is it okay if I'm on your show one day? And gladly, I will say yes after that foundation is built with him. But we have a solid foundation right now. It's just we need to build a little more of that before he's on the show. Because you have to realize, once someone's on camera in front of 50,000 people, that's a big change in a relationship, no matter what you do. And all of a sudden you have 50,000 voices going, hey, you should do this on dates, or you shouldn't do that. You should be dating someone else. Like, I've had all these comments before with previous relationships. I'm not going to have that again without some solid foundation to our relationship to hold us over through that. There are very supportive people out there, but there are people that will try to tear us apart, or that are going to try to tell us what to do in our relationship or how soon we should be doing things in our relationship. That's not how this works. There are not 50,000 people a part of my relationship. There's just Michael and I. That is it. It is exclusive. It is 100% exclusive for a reason. So I've said to him, I believe that this YouTube channel is my job, and this is what I'm going to do during the day when you're at work, but you are my personal life. It is going to stay separate for a while. And if it ever overlaps, I only want it to overlap a little bit because he is my time away from the show, and the show is my time away from him, so that we can have a healthy relationship while we're together, because the longer the waiting, the sweeter the kiss kind of thing, you know? So the next biggest controversy I want to address is the fact that we make money on this YouTube channel. Well, some people have commented and asked us, how dare you put ads on these videos? How dare you put a merchandise ad in the video for your own merchandise line? It's like, hey, you don't know what this show costs to run, first off, and you don't know that this show is not making a profit still. So there's that hole in the boat of your argument. But secondly, you have to know this show cost anywhere from a couple $100 a month to run to a couple $1,000 per month to run, depending on the month of the year and depending on how much content we're putting out there. This show is very lucky in some ways to be owned by a private company called Madhausen Productions, which is my personal production company. And we're very lucky for that fact because we can talk about political candidates all we want without any restrictions there. We can talk about all the topics we want, whatever education I want to cover. I don't need for it to be approved by a board of directors. All I need to do is approve that topic myself and talk with my team over that idea to see if maybe there's a better idea we can do for that week, so on and so forth. We're also lucky for the fact that this show started in the first place. Without that production company having all of this fancy camera gear and $100,000 of camera gear in this studio right now making this TV show, we would not have the quality of content we have. Without the $25,000 editing bay up in our office upstairs, this show would not be edited to the quality that it's edited to, with the graphics and so on and so forth. We would not have the show we have without that production company behind us going, hey, we're going to give you all the equipment and the graphics you need for this, because I personally believed in my own TV show, and my customers over the years have allowed us to upgrade our equipment to what it was before this TV show ever started. I'm also lucky for the fact that, yeah, we were able to buy a better camera for the show because, frankly, this show would not be able to produce as many episodes without this very camera that you're watching this on right now. We needed these upgrades to make this show what it is, and those upgrades are expensive, I won't lie, you know? But with all that said, the show does cost money, and I need you to know that part too. So yeah, we put ad revenue on every single video we put out on YouTube. What you have to realize is, because we're providing LGBTQ education on YouTube, we are paid 1/5 the amount of any other creator on YouTube. 1/5 the amount. So a gamer YouTuber, a vlogger, anyone else puts out a video, they get paid 5 times the amount per the same number of views that we have on our channel, because we're talking about LGBTQ topics. That's the way YouTube works, sadly. So we need people to watch the video 5 times over in order to make the same amount anyone else does. And so there's a lot of times on our videos where we're demonetized for talking about a certain topic in general, or we're demonetized because we used a little tiny clip under fair use of someone else's content, you know, and we have to dispute that for a couple weeks. For instance, we had a documentary come out called Stealing Souls documentary. A clip in there was under review before it went out. We uploaded it 3 weeks prior to when it premiered, and for some reason YouTube's algorithm caught it and they're like, hey, this isn't fair use, even though it clearly was fair use. So they said, because you use this 30-second clip, you're not allowed to make ad revenue at all from your video, which is complete horse crap. And then we ended up spending another 28 days in dispute with the production company that originally made that clip. And then finally that was released, I think middle of June, after the documentary already aired on June 2nd. And finally we're getting paid ad revenue from that July 7th now, which is like crazy how long that process took to finally get paid from a documentary we put out at the beginning of last month. And we took about 2 to 3 weeks making that documentary in production world. So it's like, it's crazy how long it takes to get paid from this kind of stuff, and we get paid 1/5 of anyone else. So that's crazy by itself. So yeah, we put ad revenue on everything we do. Sorry, but we need to make money somehow. And then on top of that, we have merchandise on all of our videos. Yeah, we do, because we think, hey, if you want to support our show even more than what you already do by watching, then you can buy a piece of merchandise. It's awesome merchandise that you get to wear around and stuff like that, have fun with. I don't really care. I mean, it would be very dumb of us to come up with a TV show and then not say, hey, you can support us in our education work. You can support our entire team who volunteers their time to make this show right now, and maybe one day we can start paying them something to help us out and write all these episodes out and write all these, 150 episodes per year out. it takes a lot of work to do. So we're hoping to get to a point where we can pay those people a little bit to help us with the show. But we're also, we have memberships on the channel where you can pay a monthly fee, but you're also getting something in return for that, just like the merchandise. You're getting, with a membership, you're getting behind the scenes access. You're getting bloopers from every single episode that you get to see all the mistakes I make during an episode being made. There's a lot of members who don't take advantage of that fully and don't watch the bloopers, but we make them available no matter what, because that's what you're paying for as part of the membership fees. But there's just a lot of members who sincerely appreciate and support what we do, and they genuinely just want us to succeed. And they understand that this show costs thousands of dollars a year to run. So I will say we do have outlets to make money from the show, but that does not cover the cost of making the show either. It's just to reimburse us for some of our cost out the door. And with it all, we sometimes take on sponsors. We sometimes partner with broadcasters because they're making money on airing one of our episodes on TV. So yeah, we're going to ask them, hey, pay us a royalty for that. A school district will show this in their classrooms, and you better believe I'm going to ask a school district who has tens of thousands of dollars for education content like this, I'm going to ask them, hey, pay us a little royalty for doing that sometimes. And so there's a lot of this controversy over the fact of why are we trying to make money off of this TV show? Why are we trying to make money off of this YouTube platform? First off, you're getting this content for free if you want it for free. You get to watch this on YouTube if you choose to watch it on YouTube. You could have an ad blocker on your browser, and we're none the wiser to that. So you can watch this content for free. There's no one forcing you to watch this content with the ads. But in helping support the show, we're able to make more content. Years ago, we can only make 10 episodes a year because I funded this TV show out of my own pocket completely with no help from anyone. And it's like, now we're at 150 episodes per year. This is a full-time job. This is 40 plus hours a week for me. And so I can't have another job on the side to work full-time for another employer because this is taking so much of my time and exhausting me at the end of the day. So it's like, I obviously need to live somehow. I need to pay for my rent, my food, my expenses. I need to go on dates with my boyfriend and not seem like a complete jerk where I'm like, hey, you got to pay for every single date we're going on. I can't do that. I got to pay for gas somehow in my production truck to make it to the Pride events that we're planning on broadcasting. I have to pay employees for those Pride events that we're having. We're about to go on tour and we're hiring staff that cost hundreds of dollars per day per staff member to have there. That's a huge cost. And so, yes, we're trying to make money somehow on this show, but it's just reimbursing us for our cost of doing it and helping us make more content in the future. I promise you, this show is not at the point where we can be like, oh my God, we're just basking in a big pool of money. That's not happening. And if it ever did happen where we have that much profit, I guarantee you we're going to hire some extra staff to help make this process easier and help make more content more often for you. The next biggest controversy revolves around our pride flags and what they all mean episodes, where one of the flags was wrong, but now it's right, but the new version that we had of that same video, it was right, but now it's wrong. I sincerely don't know what that controversy is all about. I know it revolves around the lesbian pride flag, and I know that some people have pointed out how the designer of the one has since been found out as transphobic, and we no longer use that flag to describe lesbians now, and it's fine. Pride flags do change, you have to understand that. When we look at the LGBTQ pride flag in general, it started off as an 8-striped rainbow flag, and then it changed to a 6-stripe because they couldn't find enough fabric in those colors way back in the day when Gilbert Baker designed it. Then it changed again to be an 8-stripe flag again with black and brown to represent African Americans and the Black Lives Matter community. And then it changed again to have the Progress Pride flag to include trans people and non-binary people. And then it changed, it changed so many times. And so when you're following the secession of a pride flag, it's going to change. And so when we make an episode, we can't sit there in a studio going, hey, we can't mention this lesbian pride flag because what if a year from now it changes? You know, we have to just make that episode on the information we have available to us at the time. And then if it changes, hey, it changed. You know, when you go to buy that lesbian pride flag at Amazon or whatever local store you have, you're going to find the new version of that lesbian pride flag, and that's the one you're going to be able to buy now, you know, because the community did change it to the new version. So I feel like it's perfectly fine that we have that old version out of our video. And the final controversy that we kind of have regularly on the show is how we delete comments. If someone comments something homophobic or transphobic, or something that one of our many moderators on the channel now deem as homophobic or transphobic in any way, those comments do get deleted and probably end up where your channel is banned from ever commenting on our videos ever again, because we are trying to keep this entire channel as an LGBTQ safe space so that kids can read the comments below and just get support if they need it. We are not trying to let a kid go down there in the comments and get bullied by other people. You won't see that, hopefully. We're trying to moderate as many comments as we can every single day. Our moderators go through our entire channel as often as they possibly can to moderate and keep this as a safe place. All the time we have people reporting things to us and saying, hey, check this out, Matt, and I check it out, and we ban those from people from the channel because we're trying to keep this as a safe place. This is not, gender and sexual orientation are not up for debate here. It's scientifically proven that your sexual orientation is valid and your gender identity is valid. Those are not up for debate, and we're not going to have a debate in the comments down below. What we're going to have a debate over is a friendly debate over, hey, how can a company improve something, or what episodes we can do in the future. Those sorts of debates are fine, but we're not going to debate gender identity or sexual orientation. That's not going to happen. So there are a lot of homophobic and transphobic people that get very annoyed over the fact that we delete their comments so fast. That's not going to happen. And secondly, we do not allow other external links to be linked in the comments down below. So even if it's LGBTQ friendly, if you include a link to someone else's videos on YouTube or some other article, most likely it gets deleted on YouTube's end, not even ours, because if you include a link, it gets flagged by YouTube and deleted. So that's not even us doing that part, you know? Links are not allowed because YouTube doesn't want you to link to some very horrendous website, so they just ban you from linking any website at all, which, I mean, to be fair, I don't mind if you link to another of our videos to say, hey, go check out this other video, but YouTube flags it anyway for us. So there are things like that happen all the time that you're not aware of, and people might complain that this is kept as a safe place. Do LGBTQ really need a safe place? Yes, we do. Believe me, I was a kid that was closeted. I know we need a place like this. I know we need to provide a safe place. But with all that said, that is our episode for today. I hope that these explanations kind of help you understand certain things behind the scenes, and I hope that you can better understand how our show is made and why we do the things we do, and understand that, like, hey, there's some things we've gotten wrong and we're going to apologize for them, but at the same time, I stand behind other decisions I've made as a business owner and as a TV show host to keep this show running, because this show does cost a lot of money to make. I do welcome your comments in the comments section below, as long as it's an LGBTQIA safe comment and friendly comment. I do welcome those in the comments. I'm more than open to discussion, to friendships building in the comments, to topic suggestions for new episodes. I'm more than willing to hear all those out, but if it's homophobic, we will get rid of it. Just know that. Just know that if there's not something that you really don't understand, ask it in the comments down below. Hopefully one of our moderators will catch it and will be able to reply to you with a significant answer there, or a sufficient answer there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below your LGBTQ friendly thoughts, hit that rainbow subscribe button so you don't miss out on new episodes of the show, and share this video with others. As always, I'm your host, Professor Pride. Have a gay day, everyone, and bye for now.